Agarré ahí, patrona.
Oh.
Agarré duro.
Oh, sí, está pesado. Está pesado. Yo no sabía que estaba.
What, is it?
Yeah, it's heavy.
Put it on.
A ver, claro, patrón, ¿cómo es que sí?
Several months later.
What's up, y'all? Gerald here, creator of Gospel Chops and your host for this YouTube channel, back with another video. Now, y'all, if you follow me for some time on this channel, you've heard me mention civil war several times in the last 12 months or so. I know many of you didn't want to believe it. Many of you didn't think it was so, that there could be a civil war with no bullets fired, but that's what we're in. That's what we're in the midst of, where we have what once was right against left has morphed into right against wrong. Tell you what I mean. You have three branches of government. I've explained it before on this channel. You have the executive branch, you have the legislative branch, you have the judicial branch. Well, seems like, y'all, we're in a situation where the right has won the executive branch under Donald Trump. The right has won the legislative branch with a majority in the House of Representatives and the Senate. And all that the left has is the judicial branch, and you can see them getting active. Y'all, they getting at it with all these little district federal court judges doing everything they can to rule against Donald Trump and his executive orders or his edicts, ruling against everything he wants to do to make America great again. They are coming out, and in their little tiny districts, they are putting out judicial orders that are trying to stop Donald Trump from doing everything he needs to do in his plan. Well, if you thought that was all they were going to do in that judicial branch, since that was the only branch of government that they had to work with, if you thought that was all they were going to do, you were dead wrong. Because it turns out that they are not just using the bench and those black robes to fight against the president. No, it's much more nefarious than we ever could have imagined, y'all. I bet everyone out there listening to me knows someone who felt like at some point in their lives they have been done wrong by the judicial branch, whether it be traffic court, you in there fighting a ticket and you feel like the judge did you wrong, whether it be divorce court, probate court, criminal court, civil court. At some point in your life, you've either experienced it or you know someone who has experienced it, where you feel like the judge did you wrong, didn't do justice by your standards. Well, we are in a situation where they are going so far beyond a simple ruling. No, these are the enemies within that I have spoke of on this channel. These are the ones that are working against America. These are the ones that need to be eradicated. And here you have a story, y'all, where this judge, him and his wife, we're not even going to go down that road of what that might potentially be with this judge and his wife. But they have been harboring, allegedly, Trinde Aragua gang members in their home. How can a judge who took an oath to honor the Constitution and honor America, how can he be an enemy within? How can he be an enemy of America, harboring illegal aliens in his own home and giving them assault weapons, whatever that is?
We've already reported that former Las Cruces Magistrate Judge Joel Cano can never sit on the bench ever again in our state.
Our state Supreme Court made that decision after taking a look at 2 disciplinary cases against him, and one of them alleges Cano let 3 undocumented immigrants, allegedly associated with a Venezuelan gang, stay in his home. Monica Logroño combed through all the court documents to break down how we got to this point. So, Monica, first let's start with that former judge. What do we know about him?
Well, Tessa, Trevor, he's former Doña Ana County Magistrate Judge Joel Cano. He served on the bench since 2011. He just resigned last month before the state Supreme Court decided to ban him from holding judicial office. Here's his resignation letter from early March. Now, in it, Cano doesn't give a reason for resigning, but we know that it came just days after Homeland Security raided his Las Cruces home. Now, we're getting more details of this case from the search warrant. The feds seized several items from Cano's house, 6 phones, miscellaneous documents, and laptops. The search warrant itself reveals the investigation has been in the works for months after the feds got an anonymous tip in January. The source claimed 3 undocumented Venezuelans were staying in Judge Cano's home, were working for his family, and he allowed them access to guns. Now, those suspects are Christian Adrian Ortega Lopez, Juan Manuel Acevedo León, Efren Jose Montilla Castillo, and right now, Ortega Lopez is in jail in Doña Ana County. Acevedo León is in ICE custody in Texas. Now, the tipster also told the feds that the men were associated with the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, or TDA. It's also considered a U.S. foreign terrorist organization per a President Trump executive order. Now, the feds say they were able to verify everything the tipster told them through social media. Evidence shows both Ortega Lopez and Montilla Castillo posted photos of themselves with Judge Cano, his wife, and his daughter. One of those posts is this TikTok. It shows Ortega Lopez dancing, and then he pulls out a gun, which also violates federal law. The feds also said the tattoos, clothing, and hand gestures made in all of the social media posts are associated with the TDA gang. Now, the court documents also reveal a lot about Ortega Lopez, including that he reportedly said he came to the U.S. illegally in 2023 after climbing a barbed wire fence in Texas. He was released a few days later. April last year, Ortega Lopez filed a request for immigration relief. Now, he also allegedly admitted he knew that having firearms was illegal. Now, as I mentioned, Ortega Lopez is still behind bars and Acevedo León is in ICE custody. We reached out to ICE to learn more about Montilla Castillo and a 4th suspect who was listed in the court documents, but allegedly wasn't living in Judge Cano's home. Tessa, Trevor, a lot to unpack here.
And y'all, I understand if you don't want to call it a civil war. I understand how that could be triggering to some people in this country, but you got to realize what's going on here and recognize it for what it is. You have some people in black robes around this country who don't have the best interests of Americans and America at heart. They have been elected and selected and put on the bench. They have been empowered by our government, and they feel like they and they alone should have the power to rule over America, even such that they bind the hands of an elected president of the United States. Y'all, it's getting crazy out here. But the facts are what the facts are. And if you are an enemy of America, don't matter whether you an illegal alien, a citizen of this country, a judge of this country, an elected official of any kind, if you are an enemy of America, you should probably be afraid of this administration and what is to come in this country with Kash Patel and Pam Bondi at the helm of the DOJ and the FBI, and they're changing things, shall we say, in society, changing things in government. They're cracking down on judges like this. If you don't have the best interest of America at heart, you might want to step out the way because it's going to be a bad time for you moving forward. That's just my prediction.
With breaking news, federal agents have raided the home of a former magistrate judge in Las Cruces, have also arrested his wife. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jessica Gonzalez.
And I'm Robert Olguin. The former judge, was also arrested today. And all of this stems from an ongoing investigation into an accused Venezuelan gang member who was living at the couple's home in Las Cruces. And that's where we find KFOX 14 News at 5's Harrison Parker, who has exclusive video of today's arrests. Harrison.
A dramatic escalation in the case of Joel Cano and his wife, Nancy. Joel Cano being the former magistrate judge out here for Doña Ana County. We witnessed Joel Cano being arrested earlier. HSI confirming both he and his wife, Nancy, now facing evidence tampering charges. They said they originally came for Nancy this morning, earlier today, and found evidence, some sort of evidence pointing as well to Joel. Now I'm going to step off. The scene is now empty. Earlier, This place was flooded with federal law enforcement. Our crew capturing the moment, but earlier he and his wife were put into handcuffs. Investigators say the couple had multiple alleged members or associates of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua living with them. Let's get to that video from earlier. It's the moment Homeland Security investigators placed Cano and his wife Nancy into handcuffs. Again, they're both facing charges of evidence tampering at this moment. HSI telling me they could face additional charges as the investigation continues. As we've reported, investigators say the couple hosted Christian Ortega Lopez, who is an undocumented migrant from Venezuela. We are working to get the identity of the other two gentlemen living on the scene. Authorities say Lopez displayed clear indicators he was associated with TDA. They say that included clothing, tattoos, voicemails, and text messages. Ortega Lopez was arrested at Cano's house back in February and accused of being in the country illegally. Earlier, I spoke with neighbors about the raid. Of them changed at all at the Cano?
No, not even remotely. I know my wife and went to one of the hearings for one of the boys, and there was 30, 35, 40 people there. And the judge at the outset said, "I'm stunned. I've never seen this kind of an outpouring." Most of the people here in the community knew the kids, and we'd see them riding back and forth, and they'd always wave and say hi.
Cano resigned from his position as the magistrate here in Doña Ana County last month. He did not state a reason, but the New Mexico Supreme Court has now banned him from ever holding a position like that again. I'm Harrison Parker reporting from Las Cruces, KFOX 14 News at 5.
And there you have it, y'all. The judge has been arrested for his foolery, for his treasonous acts, in my opinion. Turned his back on his country, was harboring gang members, allegedly. He tried to resign quickly before they booted him out of there, but the facts are the facts, and we know what they are. I'm glad that he resigned. I'm glad that he's out of there. I'm glad the Supreme Court of New Mexico said he could never hold such an office again. But I am more glad than anything else that this man is going to be locked up behind bars, because without retribution, without punishment, we have seen this in the past, y'all. These people are not going to learn. They're not going to take corrective action. They are not going to change their ways if they are not held accountable for the things that they've done. And that has been the fault of governments in the past who have caught these folks red-handed. Donald Trump said in a debate with Hillary Clinton, "You'd be in jail. If we held you accountable for the things that you did, you'd be locked up." And she almost choked on her spit. You could see something well up in her throat at that moment. She was like, "Oh my God, clutch the pearls. No one has ever said those kinds of things to me." But it's the truth. And we know that unless we hold these people accountable, elected officials, senators, congressmen and women, judges, unless we hold them accountable, they will never change their ways. So it's good to see examples like this. There's plenty more to go, y'all, and we understand with new leadership at the DOJ and the FBI, we patiently waiting. But we like to see when y'all get active like this. This gives us a little ray of hope that y'all ain't sold out to the swamp, that y'all haven't gone to Washington, D.C., Kash Patel and Pam Bondi, and sold your souls to the demons that exist in that place. We know they're there. We can't go physically and fight them. Y'all saw what happened on January 6th. They try to make that the worst thing in the history of the country. You threw old grandmamas in prison. We ain't trying to do that. We ain't trying to subject ourselves to a position where y'all can just lock us up forever, throw away the key and say, "Oh, well, they were enemies of America." No, we're trying to point you out as the enemy of America because we are diametrically opposed to what you are doing to this country. And when you see examples like this, well, how can you be on the other side of it when you got judges who are hiding illegal alien official gang members in their homes and giving them weapons? In this country? Is that where we're at? Listen, y'all, We say it's a civil war without bullets, but why is somebody giving bullets to illegal aliens in this country? Why is a judge participating in something like this? I would love to get to the end of this story where somebody reveals the motive. Because this is much more than stupidity. This is much more than ignorance. No, these actions are intentional. You got people inside this country who are working against this country, and I want to know why. I want to know why people in positions would risk it all to the point now where they're about to go to federal prison. You threw your whole life away. You and your wife about to be locked up. Why would you do it? What was the motivation? What did they offer you? Who offered you something to put yourself in this position? I want to know. I'm curious as a proud American, and I hope that you maintain your curiosity as a proud American. Not only that, but stay prepared. Keep your head on a swivel. Do what you got to do to protect your family and your community and your friends. Because there are people among us, y'all, who act normal, who act proud, who act like good Americans, and they are everything but good Americans. They are the enemies within. And they can take us down faster than anyone on the outside. Y'all let me know what you think about this. I'd love to know your thoughts on this Judge Kano, tomato, however you want to pronounce it, a sitting judge who had Nicaraguan gang members in his own home, harboring them, protecting them, shielding them from authorities. And it took an anonymous person who saw what was going on there, who ratted him out. Now, if y'all know me, I ain't a supporter of rats, but I'm a supporter of Americans. So if that's what you got to do in order to support this country, then by all means, snitch on this judge. Snitch on these illegals. Snitch on everybody who is a detriment to this country, because I want this country to be great for my children and my children's children and their children. Can we agree on that? Y'all let me know in the comments what you think about this. I'd love to know your thoughts, and don't forget to like the video. Subscribe to the channel and share the video so we can get more people involved in the conversation, y'all. And like I always say, always remember and never forget, without the gospel, it's just chops. Until next time, peace.